Starting off this countdown, we have the cup of ramen noodles. Ever wanted to know what your ramen noodles look like before hot water and delicious seasoning is poured on top of it? Well, now you can. And now, how many of you feel like this is a scam? I thought the whole damn bottom half of the cup was filled, not just a portion of the cup. This literally should be illegal. That and only filling up chip bags halfway. Like, what's up with that? Seriously, I get that ramen is cheap and all, but at least give us poor people more noodles than that. Doubt companies are gonna be too thrilled now that we have learned about this. We're on to you. Moving on at number 9, we have the bloodless heart. So I'm sure all of us know what a human heart looks like, right? I mean, like out of the body. I mean, you should, or else that's kind of concerning. Like, don't you not pay attention in school? Anyways, this photo I'm about to show you is what a human heart looks like, completely drained of blood. And I am absolutely speechless. That is not what I was expecting. And honestly, it looks really pretty. Is that weird for me to say? I don't know. At first I was like, oh, that's a piece of raw chicken. And then I was like, oh, no, it's like quartz or a gemstone or something. No, it's a goddamn human heart. Mind blown. Coming in at number 8, we have the big lighters. So I was today years old when I found out that big lighters are just little lighters with an extended point. This literally feels like a scam. When you buy a bigger lighter, you're hoping to get more use out of it. But no, it's just a regular lighter, meaning it has the same amount of lighter fluid, meaning you're paying more and getting the same. I will say it's more handy because it's easier to use and helps me not burn my little fingies, but still, this feels illegal. Just goes to show that size doesn't matter and don't judge a book by its cover or whatever people say, okay? My whole life is a lie now. Coming in at number 7, we have the turtle's mouth. Turtles are really freaking cute, right? And aside from snapping turtles, they're pretty slow and harmless creatures. I personally think turtles are so cute. But this next image completely changed my mind. So this image is the inside of a turtle's mouth. Yeah, you heard me. I have never seen anything that creepy before. I thought I was looking inside of an alien's mouth or something. But nope. Apparently the spikes help trap food to prevent it from coming out of their mouth. But that's why plastic is so dangerous for turtles. If they eat it and realize they can't digest it, it's hard for them to get rid of it because of these alien spikes. It often gets stuck on the spikes, which is really sad. But anyways, next time you see a turtle and you're like, oh my god, they're so cute and innocent, just remind yourself of the evil that lurks in their mouth. I also apologize for all you turtle lovers out there. Sorry. In our 6th spot, we have the unrecognizable objects. Pretty recently, this photo went viral on the internet. Why? Because it disturbed so many viewers. Take a look at this photo and tell me what you see. That's the thing. It's virtually impossible to identify any of the familiar objects. It's wild and leaves you feeling very unsettled. It's like you know what you're seeing, but your brain just can't comprehend it or put a name on it. According to Dr. Frank McAndrew, a psychology professor, he said, and I quote, "Trying to interpret an ambiguous image like this sparks uncertainty, which can lead to feeling creeped out. When a person is unsure if something could be harmful, it's normal to experience a sense of unease. We also can get creeped out by confusing things that press competing buttons in our brain, making it hard for us to categorize or understand what we are looking at." So, there you go. That's why this image is freaking everyone out. I just wish that the poster would come forward and tell us what the hell we're looking at. Like, what is it? I'm not okay. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Flesh Lego Man. So I ruined turtles for you, now it's time to ruin Lego for you, yay! Now what the actual hell is this? Someone decided to make a flesh Lego man? I am deeply disturbed and I have so many questions. The first one being why, the second one being why, and the third being why? So this was created with the help of special effects makeup artist Frank Ippolito and the team at Tested.com. They decided to dress a man up as this terrifying Lego real-life fleshy man and have him hang out at the San Diego Comic-Con. But honestly, we still don't know why they did this, besides wanting to terrify children and make it so I never sleep again. I honestly think the worst part are its hands. It's got Lego claw hands, but has a freaking nasty fingernail. That's a no from me. Coming in at number 4, we have the doll. In 2018, @CatScottLou on Twitter tweeted a picture of this photo, and it quickly spread like wildfire. This is a picture of a doll whose face has been removed and then replaced with another doll's face. And apparently this was the works of her little sister, who a lot of people are now concerned for. Apparently she is obsessed with doing this. She has also done this with stuffed animals as well, which is very concerning. That's some Norman Bates, Buffalo Bill, Ed Gein behavior right there. I'd run if I was her. Next thing you know, she's performing these surgeries on real people. Moving on to number 3, we have meatloaf. And yes, it's as bad as it sounds. Some deranged person decided to, instead of making a traditional meatloaf, to take the meat and form it into a person's foot. The worst part is the onions for the toenails. Okay, so 10 out of 10 for creativity and the name, negative 100 out of 10 for doing this though. I'm sure when it was cooked though, it changed its shape and didn't look as bad, but this is something I just did not need to see today. In fact, meatloaf is bad enough as is. Making it into feet isn't going to make it more enjoyable to eat. Moving on to number 2, we have the unknown figure. This is one image that I wish I could erase from my mind completely. It features an individual hunched over while on their tippy toes and fingers, wearing this creepy mask. What's even scarier is that I have no clue where this image came from. I tried reverse image searching and just found a lot of blogs/posts talking about it, but no one actually knows who posted it or took it or why. This is the definition of a cursed image. So if any of you know the backstory to this photo, please let me know in the comments below so it can stop cursing my sleep. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Antran. While finding pictures for this video, I stumbled upon this nightmarish one. It features a skinny, creepy robot alongside 2 kids. Obviously, I was curious about learning more in hopes to find the origin of this photo and if the robot went on to kill a number of people, but all that popped up was a creepypasta called Antran. The creepypasta goes as so. According to the narrator of the creepypasta, this photo was taken in the 70s and features their son on the left with their robot Antran, who they adopted into their family. This is also the only remaining image they have of their son. So they found this robot at a garbage dump. Someone had tried to throw him away. I wonder why. But they were amazed, so they took him home. In the end, Antran turns evil, torments the family, and eventually kidnaps the son. Now, of course, this is just a creepypasta, but it's wild how I can't even find the source of this image. A lot of people are in the same boat as me. They have been searching for years to no avail. The image is creepy enough on its own. It's even creepier not knowing the photo's backstory.
Starting us off with number 10 is the Psychopod. Sounds anticlimactic, I know, but believe me, it is anything but. Now, this old dingy looking metal pot that doesn't look like much actually belonged to the infamously horrible serial killer Ed Gein, aka the Butcher of Plainfield. Now, during the 50s, Ed went on a murderous rampage, not just killing his victims, but skinning up their cut up body parts and then turning them into furniture and clothes. Like, how screwed up is that? Who even does that? Now, the pot in question was actually where he kept all the body parts he cut up, and you'd wonder who would want to even buy that, but a lot of people are into that. I think it's like murder memorabilia. It has a name, I don't know what it is. Now, either way, the real pot was being used as a flower pot by its oblivious owner before being sold to Zach Bagans for $2,800. All for a dingy little metal pot with human remains. Great. Coming in at number 9 is the Annabelle replica. Now, horror movie buffs and anyone with internet really would have heard of the infamous cursed doll Annabelle. She was a fully authentic haunted doll whose actions inspired the movies The Conjuring and, of course, Annabelle itself. Like, the doll has movies named after her, and here I am eating ramen at home, using someone else's Netflix subscription. Either way, now the real Annabelle is currently on display at the Warrens Occult Museum and is not for sale. However, there's a replica of her being sold on eBay. The replica, if anything, is scarier than the original doll herself, and you just wouldn't want her in your home under any circumstances. Yet, the doll is on sale for $2,500 in case anybody wants her. Hope none of you do. At number 8, we have the Schwett Mansion. Located on Mayflower Road in Lake Forest, this isolated mansion legit looks like the Gatsby's house. I'm not even kidding you, it's very, very nice, very bougie. Now, the 24,500 square foot home has 15 bathrooms, 10 bedrooms, and 400 feet of beachfront to roam around on. It was bought by Chicago socialites Laura Shedd and Charles H. Schwett back in the day, but their fate was shrouded with darkness. The couple committed suicide and left the house empty for 15 50 years, and it's not like people didn't want the house, they definitely did. But rumors of the couple's ghost roaming the halls of the mansion left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. However, it's still currently on the market for $12 million, so if you have that, just, as pocket change, and you're into ghosts, go right ahead. Filling our number 7 slot is the ghost town. Now, I couldn't find a lot of information about this ghost town, but the 250-acre ghost town is located in Uptop, Colorado. A pair of sisters bought the entire town back in 2000 in hopes of restoring it and bringing some life back to it, but their dreams were never realized. Now, there were just too many reports of seeing ghosts, floating orbs of light, and hearing noises when no one was around. Towards the end, they just couldn't get anyone to move out there, so the entire haunted ghost town went up for sale for $2 million. Which is actually not that much for a whole town. That's not that much. I may have to move some things around, put some things in my checkings account to buy this haunted town. Now at number 6 is Diana. Now Diana is a haunted porcelain doll that caused a lot of problems for her previous owner. According to her seller on eBay, ever since she acquired the doll, her neighbors in the area started seeing phantom children just running around her garden and her swings moving on their own. Apparently the doll is haunted by the spirit of a 20-year-old woman also called Diana. The doll is obsessed with moving jewelry around the house and was sold for a whopping $1,250. Who is buying things this expensive when they're haunted? I don't get it. Coming in at number 5 is The Anguished Man, which is a painting in case you didn't know. Now the painter of this piece is unknown, but it's meant to be one of the most cursed paintings in the world. It's said that he mixed his own blood into the painting and soon after finishing it he committed suicide. Somehow the painting got into the possession of Sean Robinson's grandmother, who stowed it away claiming it was evil. When she died and Sean inherited it, he soon backed her statement. After he hung it up in his bedroom, his whole family started hearing crying and whispering late at night and seeing the appearance of a shadowy figure. Now I'm assuming the crying and whispering or the figure is the artist himself, just wallowing in sorrow for eternity. I really don't know, I couldn't tell you the backstory even if I wanted to. Either way, when it was for sale, it was going for $1,500, but now no one even knows where it is or who has it, which is also a bit sus in and of itself. At number 4 is Ozzie Nelson's house. Now before researching this house, I had never heard of the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, but you can't even blame me since it ran from the 50s to the 60s and I wasn't even a sperm at that point. I wasn't even an idea at that point. Either way, the show depicted America's ideal fantasy couple and their life, and this home was the backdrop of the show. Ozzie and Harriet Nelson, the couple on the show, lived in the 5,813 square foot home for over 25 years. Multiple owners that have come after them have reported actually seeing Ozzie's ghost around the house, still doing things he normally did. They would hear footsteps all over the house, and the bath would always randomly start running despite having no plumbing problem. The house was then put on the market for $5.25 million. Damn it, I'm gonna have to move some more things around in my checkings account to afford this one, i.e. my entire house. Just move into my checkings, really. Filling our number 3 slot is Pavilia Island. Yes, the whole island is haunted, and yes, the whole thing was for sale. Located between Venice and Lido, by 1776 the island was used as a quarantine area for people suffering from the plague and other diseases, and that lasted more than a century. It was then transformed into a mental hospital in 1922, where a doctor used to experiment on his patients with crude lobotomies, which is just inhumane as hell. Either way, after experimenting on his patients for years, he committed suicide by jumping from the hospital tower, since he had apparently gone mad from being haunted by so many ghosts. And I can definitely see why a bunch of patients would be angry with him. Like, I can imagine the ghosts of all those dead people are very much still around and still hate him. However, in 2014, the island was sold to Italian businessman Luigi Brugnaro for $672,000, but then it said he invested more than $16 million on top of that to renovate the building. Which, if we do the math, is a lot of bloody money, and just not enough for me to move into my checkings account, so definitely not buying this island. However, the mansion, it's still on my list. Now at number 2 is the van. Kids, and I know you're watching this, never ever ever get into a stranger's van. I know that's just something funny you say now, like, oh, a creepy guy in the van offering candy, but it's so legitimately true. don't do it. Either way, the van in question right now used to belong to Dr. Jack Kovikian and was dubbed the Death Bus. Dr. Jack, an American pathologist and euthanasia proponent, actively advocated how people have the right to die by physician-assisted suicide. And he felt like he wasn't being heard enough, so he took matters into his own hands, and I guess in his own van. Inside the Death Bus, Dr. Jack performed over 130 assisted suicides, so I mean the van has seen a lot. And again, it was good old Zach Bagans who bought it for $32,500. This man has a lot of money to buy many haunted things. And finally, at number 1 is the Black Orlov. The story behind this one is juicy as hell, but I've also covered it on the channel before, just throwing it out there in case you have seen that video. Now, weighing in at 67.5 carats, this jewel is said to have initially been the eye of an idol of the god Brahma at a shrine near Pondicherry. It was then stolen by a monk, which is said to have kickstarted its whole curse. In 1932, a diamond dealer took the gem to the US and soon after committed suicide by jumping off a skyscraper. It later belonged to 2 Russian princesses, Nadia Orlov and Leonila Baryantinsky, both of whom also committed suicide by jumping to their death in the 40s. After the string of tragedies attached to it, Charles F. Winston cut the stone into 3 pieces in an attempt to break the curse. But it gets even shadier. Diamond scholar Ian Balfour said there's no evidence of any black diamonds found in India or even a Russian princess named Nadia Orlov. Now, regardless of all the he says, she says, the diamond was auctioned off in 2006 for $352,000, but say if it was auctioned off again now, it'd be worth around $1 million.
Starting off this countdown, we have the pollen. Who here is allergic to pollen and gets really bad allergies? If you do, this video is going to be a nightmare to you. Take a look at how much pollen comes off of this tree as it's being cut down. That is a lot of pollen. It almost looks fake because of how it leaves the tree. Now, imagine living in one of the houses near that tree. Rest in peace to you. My face would be swollen for days. Next time when someone doesn't understand seasonal allergies, just show them this video. Moving on, at number 9, we have the bread staircase. Now, this is the definition of a cursed image. I have many questions here. The first one is why. The second, why. And third, why? Who thought to do this? Like, hey, let's take our bread and line the stairs with them. Like, why would you do such a thing? And what is its purpose? And please tell me that they threw the bread out after this image was taken. Imagine eating a sandwich in which someone's crusty, dusty toes were all over. Gross. Moving on to number 8, we have the blue lava. Now, honestly, this is really beautiful. Although it's scorching hot, I just want to touch it, like it looks mesmerizing. So the lava appears to be blue due to the combustion of sulfuric gases. These photos are taken from Kawah Ijen, Indonesia. So when sulfur burns, it produces a neon blue flame. Sulfur burns when it comes into contact with hot air temperatures above 360 degrees Celsius, which is 680 degrees Fahrenheit. At this place, there are really high quantities of sulfuric gas. Mixed with the high pressure and temperatures from the lava, it emits a blue color. For the lava to turn truly blue, it would require temperatures of at least 6,000 degrees Celsius, which is over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's extremely hot. Moving on, at number 7, we have the hidden meaning. So let's take a moment and go back in time when we were children, okay? Did your parents used to sing you nursery rhymes? If you answered yes, then what about the This Little Piggy song? You know, where, your toes are grabbed and pinched and you say like, this little piggy went to a market, this little piggy stayed home, this little piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none, and the other one went wee all the way home. You get it, okay? Whatever. Well, when we say this little piggy went to the market, aka our big toe, aka the biggest and plumpiest toe, they don't mean that this piggy went grocery shopping. No, honey, they went to a butcher. They got chopped up and then served at the market. How dark is that? Also, the whole this little piggy is eating roast beef thing, that freaks me out. Like, a pig eating a cow, that's not normal. Moving on to number 6, we have the headless Teletubbies. Never did I ever think I would see a photo of the Teletubbies cast without their heads on. There's something very disturbing about this. Also, hit that thumbs up button if you remember this show. If you don't, then I feel really old. But yeah, this definitely is a photo that we were not meant to see. It just ruins the magic of the show. Also, was anyone else afraid of the Teletubbies when they were kids, or was it just me? Like, Poe, he's evil. I'm telling you. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the X-ray. Now, who here loves dogs? I am absolutely a huge dog lover. But this is weird even to me. This is an X-ray image of a pregnant dog. But a lot of people commented on it saying that it looks like the dog is infested with parasites, and now I can't see past that. That's what it looks like, it does. Others said that it looks like the aliens are inside of them from the film Aliens. Like I said, I love dogs and all, but I did not need to see this, okay? It's a little unsettling to see. Coming in at number 4, we have the hard-hitting truth. Here is a screenshot from a post that's going to change your life. First off, we have never seen our own face. We see ourselves from reflections and pictures, but we obviously never have seen our face, like, face to face. Isn't that trippy? Like, I never thought of that before. Moving on, something is always touching you. It's true, even if you strip naked, okay? The ground is always going to be touching you. Unless you somehow find a way to just hover in the air. But even then, the wind will be touching you, and gravity, if that counts, you know? Next point, you can always see your nose. Now, you're staring at the screen right now watching this video. Now you're about to realize that your nose is always in your sight line. Moving on, your tongue never sits comfortably in your mouth. Okay? Move your awareness to your tongue. What's it doing right now? Chances are it's touching the roof of your mouth. Then we have the fact that you will never feel something exactly the same way someone else does. Hey, even our taste buds are different, so something to me could taste slightly different to you. Plus, everyone perceives things differently, even emotions. We all can love and be in love, but we all feel it differently. And lastly, you can't imagine a new color. Have fun living with these facts now. Coming in at number 3, we have the lamprey. Lamprey look like something you would see in your nightmares. It looks like a mix between a snake, an eel, and a leech. They can be anywhere from 5 to 40 inches in length, and they attack fish by sucking the life out of them. So they literally are vampires. Now here is an up-close image of a lamprey's mouth. Have fun swimming in open waters now. How disgusting is this, okay? So lamprey have 11 or 12 rows of teeth that wrap around in their mouth like a ring. Once they latch onto their victim, they use their barbed tongue to pierce the fish and drain it of its blood. They also excrete a blood thinner to prevent blood clotting. I'm telling you, this creature is from hell. Like, look at this thing. No, thank you. Coming in at number 2, we have the sweatshops. Not a lot of people know the severity of fast fashion in sweatshops. In order to make some of the clothes you wear, people are subjected to work in disgusting conditions for less than $1 an hour. Sometimes they are paid about 50 cents or less per article of clothing, and these pieces take hours to create. In fact, 97% of fast fashion is produced overseas in developing countries with poor labor laws and human rights protections, meaning they can pay them next to nothing and treat them like garbage and get away with it. This photo showcases how problematic fast fashion is. They work in dingy, dark, and cramped spaces. What's sad is that most of the workers are very young and exploited. Abuse is also a frequent problem that the workers face. Not only that, but factory fires, accidents, and collapses are sadly common. In 2013, Rana Plaza collapsed, taking the lives of over 1,000 workers. Even if it's not safe for them to work, they are forced to do so anyways. And in our number 1 spot today, we have fast fashion. The fast fashion industry is one of the world's most biggest and dangerous polluters. Pictured here are heaps of clothes polluting waterways. The image on the right is a river in China that is completely polluted by the clothing dyes from a nearby factory. Millions of tons of microplastics and fibers are contaminating the ocean and poisoning sea mammals and us as well. 100 billion items of clothing are produced each year. But guess what? 3 out of 5 fast fashion items end up in a landfill within a year of purchase. Companies are overproducing items and we are overbuying them. And then people just throw them out and they end up in landfills all around the world. These clothes can sit in landfills for 200 years without deteriorating. Not only that, but factories producing our clothing don't discard of their toxic materials or dyes properly. They are just dumped into rivers, polluting them. Fast fashion produces 20% of global wastewater. And 0.6 to 1.7 million tons of microplastic fibers end up in the ocean every year. Not only that, but one garbage truck of clothes is burned every second, meaning the soil, water, and air are constantly being polluted.
Kicking off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the Crying Children paintings. These paintings were a series created by an Italian painter who was known as Giovanni Bragolin, but his real name was Bruno Amarillo. Bruno was born in Venice in 1911 and fought in World War II, which ended up being the inspiration for a lot of his paintings. During his time in the war, he saw a lot of suffering children, and this is where he got the idea for the series of the Crying Children paintings. After the paintings were sold, there began to be reports of fires in all of the places where the paintings were held. While this could have just been a strange coincidence, the weirdest part is that the paintings always remained intact while everything else around them was burned. This quickly became the most talked about thing and was on the front of every newspaper, and the paintings quickly gained the nickname Diablo. It caused these paintings to end up being replicated and mass produced, but none of the replicas hold quite the same powers as the originals. Moving on to number 9, we have the stoop chair that once belonged to Thomas Busby. Thomas was a man who lived in Thirsk, North Yorkshire, and wasn't known as a very nice man, but he really loved his chair. In 1702, he found his father-in-law sitting in it, and it sparked an argument between the two. The father-in-law threatened to take his daughter back, and that's when Busby kicked him out of the house. After this, Busby ended up going over to the father-in-law's house and actually kills him with a hammer and then hid the body in the woods. Of course, the body ended up being found, and this led to Busby getting convicted and sentenced to death. It is said that on his ride to his execution, he asked to stop by his favorite pub for a beer, and this request was fulfilled. Apparently, as he finished his drink, he said, "May sudden death come to anyone who dare sit in my chair." I really don't know what it is with this guy and his chair, but while it currently resides in the Thirsk Museum, it has been recorded that many terrible fates have been met by the people who have sat in the chair. In 1972, it was decided to hang the chair from the ceiling so that no one could sit in it again, which is probably for the best. Would you have sat in the chair if you had the chance? Moving on to number 8, we have the Anguished Man. While it is unknown who and when it was created, this painting is said to carry some kind of curse. It is rumored that whoever created it mixed his blood in with the oil paint, and when it was finished being created, he ended up committing suicide. When a woman who is referred to as Mrs. Robinson originally took possession of the painting after it was given to her by a family friend, she immediately knew that something was wrong with it. She ended up passing it along to her grandson Sean, who currently still owns the painting. The Robinson family has reported many different strange events that have happened in relation to the painting, such as hearing screams and groans coming from it. Sean has even uploaded videos to YouTube where he shows these paranormal events. I'm not sure why the family has decided to keep the painting, but I guess as long as it's not hurting anyone, it's okay. Continuing on to number 7, we have the real-life Annabelle doll. When I saw the 2014 Annabelle movie, I had no idea it was actually based on a real-life doll. The doll now resides inside of Warren's Occult Museum, where it absolutely belongs. There was a college student named Donna who received the doll as a gift from her mother, who had purchased it from an antique store. Donna and her roommate started to notice some pretty creepy things happening and swore that the doll was moving. They said it would appear in different places and positions throughout their apartment before things began to escalate. Donna began to find notes that said "help" in her apartment, and one night found the doll in a different position and covered in some sort of red substance. The girls then decided to contact a medium who solidified all of their beliefs and told them that the doll had been possessed by the spirit of someone who was killed in their apartment building. For some reason, the girls didn't immediately get rid of the doll, and the story goes that their friend Lou, who was at the girls' apartment, heard strange noises one night and went to investigate, and he was then attacked and killed by Annabelle. The girls finally contacted a priest who told them that the doll was possessed by a demon straight from hell, and then put them in contact with Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are paranormal investigators. They tried to do an exorcism on the doll, but it apparently failed, and now it is kept in a glass box in the museum. I didn't know that a glass box is the safest place for a paranormal item, but as long as it isn't hurting anyone, that's the important thing. Moving on to number 6, we have the ballista balls. A ballista was used in the Roman military, and it was kind of similar to a crossbow, but much larger and could shoot arrows and stones. In 1989, there were some archaeologists that were working by the Israeli Israeli-Syrian border when they found these large stones close to what seemed to be the remains of a ballista, but around 1995 the stones ended up getting stolen, but it took a while for anyone to notice. Fast forward to 2015 and the same stones that were stolen ended up in the courtyard of the museum in Israel with a note left from the person who stole them. The note explained that ever since they took them, he had experienced terrible luck and believed the stones were the reason. He had a very successful business that suddenly began to fail after he took the stones, and later his family abandoned him and he was forced to get rid of almost all of his possessions to settle all of his debts so as to not go bankrupt. He mentioned that he believed the stones were cursed and that they were the root of all of his problems. Whether or not these stones are actually cursed or this was just some pretty heavy karma, I hope this guy has been able to get his life back on track. Halfway down the list in our number 5 spot we have the Goddess of Death statue, who is also known as the Woman from the Lem. This artifact made out of limestone was created sometime around 3500 BC and was found in Cyprus in 1878. Over the years it has belonged to many different families who all have been ruined and dismantled by death. After the first 6 years of ownership, all 7 members of the first family died. It then moved on to a second owner, and after 4 years, death began to come to him and his family. There was then a long period where it was unclaimed, but once the third family got a hold of it, several members of that family began to die as well. The third family ended up turning it over to the Royal Scottish Museum, where it thankfully still resides. Moving on to number 4, we have the Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond was most likely cut from a mine in India and placed in a statue. It is a huge 45 carats and has a beautiful rare blue color. It is one of the most famous diamonds in the world, partially for its beauty, but also because of all of the mysterious happenings surrounding it. One day a thief stole the diamond and is said to have died quite soon after. From then on, anyone who owned or even touched the diamond was said to have met an ill fate. Whether it was suicide, a massacre, or a pack of wild dogs, the diamond seemed to have placed a curse on any and everyone who got near it. In 1958, it was fortunately donated to the Smithsonian and has been safe there ever since. I wonder if it got moved from the museum, if the curse would continue. Moving on to number 3, we have the Dybbuk box. The box, which was originally just a plain old wine box, is said to have been possessed by a Dybbuk, which in Jewish mythology is a malicious demon. The box began to gain attention in 2001 when it was being auctioned off on eBay. The seller explained that he had bought it at an estate sale of a woman who had survived the Holocaust. When he first opened the book, he found 2 1920s pennies, a lock of blonde hair bound with a cord, a lock of black or brown hair bound with a cord, a small statue engraved with the Hebrew word shalom, a small golden wine goblet, 1 dried rosebud, and a single candle holder with 4 octopus-shaped legs. Since he bought the box, he reported that strange things began happening, such as really horrific nightmares for him and anyone who had stayed around or touched the box, and when he gave the box to his mother as a birthday gift, she suffered a stroke the same day. The box ended up in the hands of Zach Bagan, who is a paranormal investigator, and it now resides in his haunted museum. The box also gained even more attention in 2018 when Post Malone touched it and has apparently been dealing with the repercussions of that ever since. Coming on to number 2, we have the Dark Mirror. The Dark Mirror now belongs to the Traveling Museum of the Occult, who got it from the mirror's original owner. The mirror is said to show some pretty unsettling images when you stare into it. The original owner said that they purchased it from a psychic fair in the Columbus area and were shocked with the visions they saw when looking into the glass. Visitors to the Traveling Museum have claimed to see some pretty crazy things, such as their own corpse when they gaze into the mirror. It's pretty creepy stuff. In our number 1 spot today, we have the cursed portrait of Spanish military leader Bernardo de Galvez. Bernardo was born in Spain in 1746 and died under strange circumstances in 1786, and was famous for helping American colonies in the War of Independence. The painting is on display at the Galvez Hotel in Galveston, Texas, which is said to be one of the most haunted hotels, in part because of this portrait. The portrait is at the end of a hallway in the hotel, and guests have reported the eyes following their every move. People also report a cold or uncomfortable feeling when they get close to the painting, and this is said to be Bernardo's spirit. Some people even swear they can feel him following them around the hotel. It is also said that any picture you try and take of the portrait will come out blurry and distorted unless you ask Bernardo for permission.
Starting off this countdown, we have the retired tires. Automobile tires are one of the top polluters in the US, and the problem keeps getting worse and worse. Every year, automobiles produce 246 million waste tires in the US alone. Imagine how many more millions of tires are thrown out globally. It's quite shocking. These tires then end up polluting our lakes, streams, streets, and soil. This photo shows you a dumping ground in Nevada. This area used to be a recreational play area until 2006, when it became a dumping ground. Not just for tires though, but for other items that people no longer needed. It's very sad. This photo shows the harsh reality of the world. We're literally killing it slowly but surely. Moving on to number 9, we have the witch. In 2006 in Mexico, a strange object was seen flying in the sky. As a result, a couple of bystanders decided to film this weird object. The people you're about to hear in the video are talking about a balloon. That's what they think that they're seeing. But see for yourself. So that is definitely not a balloon. Look at its shape. Upon closer inspection, a number of people believe that this object was in fact a witch on her broomstick. I'll let you decide what you think it is. Maybe it's just garbage floating in the wind, or maybe it's something much darker. Moving on at number 8, we have the hologram. In November of last year, a video went viral as it shows what appears to be Pope Francis vanishing into thin air on live TV. Basically, the Pope stepped to his window to honor the victims of COVID and acknowledge the frontline workers. The clip shows him going to his window, and as he's walking away, he disappears into thin air. This led people to believe that he's a hologram, like he straight up just glitched in real life. In our 7th spot, we have the polluted water sources. In December of 2011, the Jiang River in China turned a deep red color and it frightened the locals. Turns out that the water turned this color from 2 illegal chemical plants dumping their waste into the rain sewer pipes. This is very concerning, primarily because polluted water sources have been linked to a rise in cancer villages. This is the name given to areas where cancer rates are high among people due to the polluted waters. What's scary is that these factories would have continued dumping their waste illegally had they not been caught. Hundreds, even thousands of manufacturers worldwide might be doing the same as well, and slowly poisoning us. Coming in at number 6, we have the doll. I don't know about you, but dolls creep me out. Barbies are fine, Polly Pockets are chill, but Raggedy Ann dolls or porcelain dolls, no, I don't mess with those. Anyways, why am I talking about dolls? Well, in this next video, a girl is playing with her Barbie dolls as her dad films. And then, things take an unexpected turn, literally, when one of the dolls' heads turns. Check it out.
Fala uma coisa. Vou lá comer sozinho.
Sora, vem comer!
Tá bom!
Now, I don't know if this is fake or real, but either way, it's pretty creepy. Like, the doll literally whips its head towards the girl. If I was her, I'd sleep with one eye open because it looks like Barbie is coming for her. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the doll in the wall. Yay, more creepy dolls. I'm telling you, they are no good. So in September of last year, a new homeowner, Jonathan Lewis, decided to break down this area under the stairs that had been boarded up. But as soon as he did so, he immediately regretted it. In that boarded up area, he found a creepy old rag doll clutching a note. The note sent shivers down his spine. The note read, and I quote, "Dear reader / new homeowner, thank you for freeing me. My name is Emily. My original owners lived in this house in 1961. I didn't like them, so they had to go. All they did was sing and be merry. It was sickening. Stabbing was my choice of death for them, so I hope you have knives. Hope you sleep well." Wow, what a nice home-warming message. Time to lock that doll back up where it came from or move out, or both. In our 4th spot today, we have the Skinwalker. A Skinwalker is said to be this witch or demon that can turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal. Well, the individual that recorded this video believes that they captured a Skinwalker taking form as a goat. See for yourself. That goat straight up just stood up and started walking like a normal human being. Obviously, this is not natural behavior for a goat. So what's up with that? If it ain't possessed or a skinwalker, then it's a glitch in the matrix. And there's something suspicious about that chicken too, like the way it was just following the goat. Those two are up to no good. Moving on at number 3, we have the Mothman. The Mothman is a creature that originates from West Virginia folklore. Apparently, it's a large 10-foot tall gray creature with red glowing eyes and wings and has the ability to fly over 100 miles per hour. This creature has been spotted a number of times. In particular, it's believed that once you see him, bad things are going to happen. So he's kind of like an omen. In fact, people say that they saw him several days before the Chernobyl power plant explosion. In another instance, he reared his ugly head during the 2011 Japanese earthquake and tsunami. People videoing the destruction caused by these disasters caught this weird black flying creature on film. It looks as if it disappears and reappears a number of times in the video. Could this be the infamous Mothman? Some people seem to think so. Coming in at number 2, we have the mermaid. In 2013, 2 men in Israel were out by the sea when they saw a weird creature laying on the rocks. One of the men thought that it was just a seal. The other man filming thinks it's something different. Then when the mermaid notices that she's being watched, she slides back into the sea. Take a look.
It's a seal, man.
The thing that is creeping everyone out is the fact that it turned its head to look at the men. Also, its tail does not resemble that of a seal. One commenter on the video claims that this video is real. She said, and I quote, "The way this mermaid looks, petite with dark hair and a dark tail, is exactly the way the Scots described a mer creature they found on shore back in 1830. So maybe mermaids are indeed real and this is evidence of them. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Frida Sofia. This is one of the most creepiest cases I have ever heard of. In 2017, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit Mexico City, causing a school to collapse. Rescuers were quickly on the scene trying to free people from the rubble. As one officer was searching for lost victims, he encountered a trapped 12-year-old girl. She was found by using a thermal scanner. When rescuers made contact with her, she said her name was Frida Sofia. From there, the team was dedicated to saving her. Here's the thing. She never existed, yet a number of rescuers actually spoke to her and saw her hand wiggling under the rubble. Her name, however, was not in the school's roll book. Originally, a Navy officer told the news that there was a girl trapped there that they were trying to rescue. But then the Navy backtracked and said that all the missing people were accounted for. So who is this Frida Sofia girl that people were talking to? It's thought that maybe she was a ghost. The scariest part? In a TV interview, a ghostly girl can be seen at the site of the incident. This has led people to believe that this is the ghost of Frida Sofia.
Coming up in our number 10 spot, we have Musée de Horreur Octopus Men. That's my French accent for ya. It failed. This is a poster that honestly gave me the creeps to look at, which is my sign for the fact that it's cursed. This is a replica of a French poster from 1899. This poster is of a man that is seemingly half man, half octopus. The man is also wearing an eye patch and looks quite stern, so overall, the vibe of this picture is just low. Not to mention, it's literally called the Museum of Horrors, so that just sets the tone for you to be scared. Words are powerful, folks.
In our number 9 spot, we have the Jeffrey Dahmer blade. This is one of the most chilling items that I found. This is a kitchen cooking blade that has the face of known killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Why does this product even exist? I don't understand, people. Jeffrey Dahmer is known for being a cannibal, and so this product just pushes the envelope a little too much for me. Upon inspecting the item, I noticed that 6 people bought it and 45 people are watching the item. Who are these 6 people and 45 watchers? I demand a reason for buying this item. Unless it is for Halloween purposes. Actually, no. Even still, this is too dark. Imagine the headspace you have to be in to even think of this item. I'm scared. Let's move on. In our number 8 spot, we have the angry baby face. Maybe it's because I'm creeping up on my motherhood years, or maybe it's because this is genuinely supremely creepy. I'm really unsure, but would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. This is an angry baby face mask. Actually, it's a collection of baby face masks with an angry version, a crying version, and a happy version, and all of them are quite disturbing. I think the happy version is the most nerve-wracking, to be honest. The baby looks like Gollum when he finally has the ring in his hands. I think the eyes are possibly the worst part, so big and grayish blue. I'm concerned that 48 people bought this, but whatever. In our number 7 spot, we have the pig mask. Has anyone ever seen the show Black Mirror? And the first episode is with the politician and the pig? Yep. Quite the disturbing show, and not gonna lie, ever since that episode I've had a hard time with pigs. Actually, that's a lie. I just have never liked pigs that much, if I'm being honest. The only pig that I ever loved was from the movie Babe. Okay, fine, and the one from Charlotte's Web. Anyways, this is a mask of an angry pig. Guys, did you know that pigs sometimes eat their babies? Pigs are scary, okay? This mask gives me the creeps, and it's absolutely cursed. 43 people have bought this item. Correction, 43 sociopaths have bought this item. In our number 6 spot, we have the family heirloom. This is a ring that is pretty creepy to look at. It's quite old and worn out, and is supposedly an heirloom to the Borgia family, a prominent Italian family. This heirloom is a piece that dates back to the 1600s. It is also a piece of jewelry that is said to be haunted, as it was a part of an Ed and Lorraine case at one point in its history, and the case dealt with a lot of suffering. The ring is made of gold, and the stones have not been identified. I've never seen a stone like it. It almost looks otherworldly. The ring has a set price of, wait for it, $3,000 US. A lot of money to spend on a possession that is definitely cursed. In our number 5 spot, we have Aladdin's lamp. This item is probably cursed, but also it's really cool, so I'm conflicted as to how I feel about it. I was a hardcore Aladdin fan, not gonna lie, and I have to admit, Aladdin was definitely my first crush. He's a dreamer who does what he can to make his dreams happen, so gotta love that in a man. Anyways, this lamp speaks to me. Does that mean whatever is haunting it is speaking to me? Does that mean I'm already being tricked? Anyways, very confusing. The seller of this lamp claims it to be haunted, as well as that it possesses powers. It's also really dirty. Not sure if this seller decided to leave it dirty so that it looks like it came straight out of the desert of Agrabah, but I don't understand. Like, why couldn't you have wiped it down, like, even a little? My cleaning OCD is acting up, so let's move on. In our number 4 spot today, we have a haunted ring. The title of this product is literally Haunted Ring, so do we think it's cursed? I'm leaning towards yes. This might be the spookiest ring that I have ever seen. It has a brassy look to it with what looks like a bird at the top, then honestly what looks like stitching or maybe a tally of something underneath, and then the letters ROM and some more stitching or tallying of something. It's so strange. Upon further investigation, apparently there is supposed to be an A at the end of the ROM, meaning it's supposed to spell out Roma, and apparently this is a ring that was made for a man for his wife named Roma, who was a survivor of World War II. dark. Honestly, if this was a gesture of love, couldn't he have just written "I love you"? Some men need guidance. In our number 3 spot, we have the clown painting. This is a painting of a clown that literally looks like it's looking into your soul. Or perhaps it's looking into your ear and getting ready to pull a coin out of it, but regardless, I'm scared. It's cursed. There's clearly a spirit attached to this painting. This painting is from the 60s, and I truly wonder who in the world bought this painting back then. Also, I want to know where in the house this painting would be hung if bought, because I don't think there is a room that it would not be creepy in. Unless you had a room of clown merch, then perhaps it wouldn't be as creepy. It would just add to the collective creep vibe, but still. If you have a happy clown story and are convinced you can make me less scared of clowns, please share it with me in the comment section below. In our number 2 spot, we have this old Ouija board. This one might be a given, as it's literally a tool to talk to the dead, but whatever, I had to put it on the list because it's clearly cursed and we should definitely stay away from this item. This is a very old version of the board that has probably passed through the hands of many in its time, and it is so dark and spooky looking that it just gives me the creeps. When people play Ouija, they could be talking to good or bad spirits, and they say that the bad ones can actually attach to you if you're not careful. I truly wish this game came with a list of player stories so people could be aware of how psychologically damaging it can be. I had a very dark experience with this game, so definitely stay away and do not buy it. In our number 1 spot, we have the Illuminati New World Order card game. Okay, I had to put this one in first because it's honestly intense. This is a card game that was invented in 1994 by an artist named Steve Jackson. This isn't just any card game though. Oh no, this is a card game that has predicted a lot of crazy events that have happened in world history. There's too many predictions to count at this point, but the very fact that it was invented in 1994 and there is literally a card with 2 buildings and one exploding, similar to a certain attack that happened in 2001 in New York City, is mind-blowing. This deck is called the Illuminati New World Order, which makes you wonder, was this a prophetic game? Or was this quite possibly made by an insider that was subtly warning the world of what is to come? In any case, this item is definitely cursed as the cards keep coming true, so beware.